This has become a common enough statement in my comments that I figured I should just do a whole video entertaining the idea of this hypothetical that everyone keeps discussing about what happens if demand dies down. Yeah, like, it's easy to see with the wait times and the price hikes and everything that clearly there is more demand for Teslas than there is supply for. In fact, there's probably never been a greater demand, and ironically, there's never been a greater supply. You know, it'd be one thing if the chip shortage was causing these delays and Tesla was delivering the same number of cars as before, but June was their highest production month ever, and yet these wait times aren't frickin' going down. You can thank the Tesla advertising that's posted on all major roads in the United States, showcasing how much it costs to pay for a gallon of gas. Thankfully, Tesla has to pay nothing for that advertising. But if you're new here, you gotta know I love speculation. I love entertaining the concepts and ideas of things. So in today's video, I'll be talking about what could happen if maybe everyone has a change of heart and decides, you know what, EVs aren't worth it, or Tesla specifically isn't worth it because either the competition, whether it be Hyundai or Ford or VW, is just so much better. Everyone starts buying non-Teslas, or the price of gas magically drops to $1 a gallon or less. And suddenly Teslas, with all of their software and all of their dependence on touchscreens and minimalism and simplicity, suddenly becomes less desirable. Let's say the orders start flatlining and Tesla's not getting any new orders coming in. Well, as unlikely as that may be, and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, here's some things they could do to negate that would not be really difficult or even that much of a revenue threat to the company as a whole. For one, if sales did start to flatline, you probably wouldn't know about it for many months, because keep in mind, if there's still people ordering Teslas now at these all-time high prices, Tesla would have to lower the price of all these vehicles if they applied price cuts for all the people waiting. So there's many people that have put in orders like a year ago or 6 to 8 months ago that are still waiting on their car, and if the prices went down lower than what they ordered for, they have a big incentive to either cancel or order again. But more similarly to what Tesla has done in the past, they would likely just apply all of those price cuts to customers that have already agreed to paying more. Essentially, it would be burning thousands of dollars worth of revenue for no reason. So because of these wait times, you're not going to see Tesla cut prices until delivery times go down to the 3 to 4 week era again. That feels like ages ago, but that's what I keep reminding people who are thinking, you know, are Tesla lowering prices anytime soon? It pains me to say it, but as long as the estimated delivery is in months, not weeks, there's basically no reason for Tesla to lower prices. But okay, if we're entertaining the concept that the sales have flatlined, now some time has gone by and Tesla's delivered all of the high-priced vehicles that people have committed to paying for, well, instead of just cutting prices across the board, which is a very easy, sure way to get more sales, you widen your addressable market by making it more approachable. Tesla could instead start to figure out what are people asking for with Teslas, and they could easily, I think, cave on a lot of things that they haven't gone forward with yet. A big one that I see commonly requested in most subreddits is CarPlay or Android Auto. A lot of people want these on Teslas, and it's basically just software that could add them, especially with Apple's new enhanced CarPlay capability. There's a lot of potential that you could bring by having a CarPlay experience on the Tesla that, of course, tons of YouTubers would talk about, and Tesla can, for free, post about it on their Instagram and Twitter. That gets more eyes on the company, headlines will be made, and probably another big surge in sales because that's one of the most common requests. You could add AirPlay to the Tesla just via a software update that suddenly makes it more desirable. And even in the hardware department, now that Tesla has such high gross margins on their vehicles, approaching an average margin of 30%, that means you have a lot of wiggle room to add more things to the hardware if there's some obvious things people are asking for and maybe going to the competition with. It feels silly to entertain this because it's so far from happening, but if Tesla was polling people and figuring out, like, why do you not want a Tesla over a competing car brand, and they found out, well, it's just your interior isn't very luxurious, well, it's because you don't have ventilated seats and that kind of thing, they have lots of margin to work with for the prices to stay the same, but they can just make the product more desirable. They could add the ventilated seats in the Model 3 and Y, they could add a display to the back, they could add massaging seats. Tesla likes to do those incremental upgrades throughout the year where they just start adding or taking away certain things, and if demand started to become a more limiting factor, they could easily, I think, cave on a lot of those requests and start making the product more desirable, or shut down the assembly lines for a while to update them and hopefully make them have better quality control if that's preventing people from buying them. But the reason they haven't done all that yet is because people are buying them. So shutting down the factory or adding new components or more luxury features are the kinds of things that would slow down deliveries, and Tesla is trying to avoid that at all possible because there's so many people ordering. The last thing you want to do right now is shut down and slow down these wait times and make people have to wait even longer for their car. Now, the other great advantage Tesla has over all of their competitors, I think, is the software side of their business, which could be an amazing secret weapon if this hypothetical demand slump ever hits Tesla. At this point, it feels like that'll never happen with the price of gas and how many people are ordering right now, but if in the future not enough people were ordering, Tesla has so many software packages they could suddenly turn on for new orders and say, hey, you know what? If you buy a Tesla between now and the end of the month, you're gonna get enhanced autopilot for free, or you're gonna get full self-driving at a discount, or you can get premium connectivity free for 2 years, and these kinds of things do not cost Tesla that much to activate or turn on because this software is already developed. It's already there. It doesn't add to the hardware cost. It's basically just a flip of a switch in software, and they could say, boom, all of these vehicles, even though they're technically the same prices as before, now are of better value because they include software packages, or as we've seen in the past with end of quarter rushes, they could offer free supercharging for 3 months or free supercharging for a year, and they would likely get a pretty big surge in sales if they started offering those kinds of software packages, and maintaining those perks likely wouldn't cost Tesla that much at the end of the day. Another great tactic that I think could be really effective is revamping the referral program. I was really bummed out when they canceled it, but it made a lot of sense in my view because when so many people are ordering Teslas, you don't really need to create incentives for people to refer others. Referral programs are essentially a great way to spread the word and get people buying new products, and if you brought back the old referral perks and said, hey, you can put your referral code on your YouTube video descriptions or your Twitter bio, and you and someone else would get 1,000 miles of free supercharging when you use that code, suddenly I think there would be a larger influx of YouTubers or influencers, even outside of the EV space and outside of the tech community, that would be interested in talking about their car more and posting about it more because they would have an incentive to put the referral code and get more free supercharging out of it. So Tesla would lose out on a little bit of supercharging revenue, but ultimately the car revenue I think is much higher than that. So basically they can let influencers do their advertising for them. They don't need to pay for direct commercials. So lastly, I'll finally cave and just admit that yeah, because Tesla's gross margin is so high right now on all of their vehicles, if demand did start to slump, absolutely, they could comfortably lower prices to be a lot more competitive, and they would likely still be way more profitable than their competitors. So in a situation where the Mustang Mach-E starts outselling the Model Y, or the VW ID4 starts outselling the Model Y, the margins are so dang thick on this crossover, and they use less batteries in the Model Y than either the Mach-E or the ID4, and there's less components, less complexity to the overall design. They could comfortably start to price match it and create very little pricing advantages to their competitors and just say, hey, we now have the more affordable option, and they would likely overtake their competitors very, very quickly if they were comfortable with lowering prices. And as we've seen in the past during the Model 3 ramp in 2017 and in 2018, Tesla will, for the sake of their mission, sell cars at a loss. I know it was a long time ago and a lot of people just think, oh, Tesla's this company that only cares about money and profitability, but if you go back and look at the Model S and the X ramp and even the Roadster, Tesla will deliver vehicles that they're losing money on for the sake of this supports our mission statement. Of course, they'll have a roadmap to make it more profitable so they don't bankrupt themselves, but the only reason you're not seeing price cuts is because demand, again, is really not the limiting factor. It's not from lack of affordability that Tesla is not delivering as many EVs, it's lack of production capacity and it's lack of raw materials. And increasing production capacity and increasing the access to raw materials, all that stuff requires billions of dollars of investment, so that's why Tesla wants to have margins that are appropriate to what the market demands. And right now, the demand far outpaces supply. So it's a simple economics equation of you want to price something that people are willing to pay for it, and frankly, having 1 year wait times on their most popular models is already not a great scenario, which is why I do expect Tesla prices to probably get even worse as time goes on. I see no real legitimate chance of price cuts coming in the near-term future, and even if demand did slow down, think about all of the ideas I talked about in today's video. They will likely go with those first before just objectively lowering prices, because that's the most obvious way you can leave money on the table. Whereas, you know, making the product more desirable or increasing the benefits of referring people or including software packages that cost Tesla nothing to add, that's going to create big upticks in sales and won't require that much money to be left on the table. So if you do want a Tesla over all else, I would really advise against the concept that, well, maybe if I wait a year, it'll be cheaper. I tried to play that game myself, and I basically just ended up paying a premium for it. So, of course, no one knows the future for sure. I don't know what's gonna happen, but based on their current history, that's what I expect. What do you guys expect? Feel free to let me know down below, and thank you to everyone on Patreon supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.